Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, good time zone to you all, and thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome to another episode of Behind the Streams. Today, we are doing an AMA, and that's not Ask Me Anything, that's Ask Mods Anything. So, we've got a fantastic group here today, myself excluded. I am Wes Sisa. You can find me the same place on Twitter. I don't stream, so don't follow my Twitch, but I do everything, as the title might suggest, behind the scenes. So, without further ado, let me go ahead and pass it over to my fantastic co-host, Adorkably Rini.
Hey guys, I'm Rainy. I'm the communications and operations manager, whatever, of StreamerSquare. I kind of run the day-to-day here, but I'm also a longtime mod, longtime community manager, advocate as well. And so we're here to just let you guys have a chance to, as we said, ask us anything, because there's a lot to modding. We've had a lot of really good focus shows, but there's so much to cover that we just need a time to talk about anything and everything, and so that's kind of what we're doing today. So we brought on two of our friends, FeralHelena and As Told by Dylan, and so I'm going to let Helena start off and just kind of give an introduction of what she does. She's been around in the event streams for a while and is very knowledgeable there, and Dylan's got a lot of YouTube knowledge, so both of them will share some of that with you. But Helena, take it away.
Hi there, I'm FeralHelena, Twitch, and I've been in mod platforms 2015. I've been working events 2017. I mod for pretty much a balance between community channels. Community channels are mostly in the music community, and the event channels kind of run the gamut from the charity events to the esports side of things.
I'm As Told by Dylan. I am a moderator for Loco. I am channel manager on both gaming channel and IRL channel as well. And I'm also a moderator for StreamerSquare, and I also started streaming regularly. And so I actually just became a Twitch affiliate last week, which is so cool.
Congrats!
Super busy right now, though. Super busy right now, though, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and so one of the things we wanted to start with is how we got into modding. Like, what's sort of that backstory, what drew us to it. I know for me, I've been on this platform, I need to actually click my name to find out how long I've been here, since 2012. And I've actually been a mod basically since then. Jumped quite, within the first 5 months, I became modded in one of my friends' channel, who is now partnered with Twitch and partnered with Facebook Gaming. I don't mod on Facebook Gaming just because I like to keep my personal information separate from my online life, and so I'd like to have that disconnect, and since my last name is there, I tend to not be there for the gaming stuff. But I came over to modding for Twitch from being a executive board member and community ambassador type role from a group called 20-something bloggers, which is, or was, it's no longer together, the internet's largest group of personal bloggers. And they were all from the ages of 20 to 29. We did, of course, have some leeway for when you aged out and whatnot, but we ran that for about 5 years, doing a lot of events in Chicago. We did different advertising campaigns, and from that, and just kind of loving doing backstage stuff. I was also in technical theater. I love anything I can do backstage, any kind of supportive role. It just made sense to be a mod for me. And so now I'm not modding as much as I used to, and I kind of enjoy that break because I'm doing so much with StreamerSquare. And it's nice to basically have my one mod home of McLaffy Taffy and then a few friends that I've been helping here and there. Wes, why don't you tell us how you got started?
Well, I actually kind of got started in a strange way because I started by wanting to be a streamer. I wanted to stream, so I started tuning in to places like StreamerSquare and watching Loco and trying to like pick up on the tips and tricks and learn for myself. And I did all the panels and made all my alerts and did all this stuff. And then I started going live and I was like, meh. Like, I don't know. Like, I think I liked making my panels and setting up stuff more than I liked actually streaming. And like, while I'm fine on camera, like I was in drama and stuff, like I'm okay being live in front of people. It doesn't bother me. I still like got anxiety before I went live, and I still do every time before I know I'm going live. I get like super anxiety. So I decided that I want to be in the industry of streaming so badly. I absolutely love it. I love everything about it. But I don't need to be the person on stream. And I realized that pretty early, and I'm super happy that I realized that pretty early before I dumped a whole lot of time into it. But since then, I've continued to learn as much as I possibly can about streaming, either being the streamer yourself or being a mod. And I have modded a dozen plus channels and done all kinds of things, from small channels to larger channels. Nothing along the lines of what Helena has done as far as large channels, but medium successful channels. And from stuff like family friendly Loco to the political side of modding for someone like Lucid Fox, where obviously the rules are very different. So that's kind of my background in modding, but I think y'all have pretty much heard that before. I've been, telling y'all my background for weeks now. But there are very, very different and very cool stories behind how Dylan and Helena got into modding and what they do. So go ahead, as a newer mod, Dylan, why don't you tell us how and when you got into modding, and tell us your experience and what's happened since, the day you got the sword.
Yeah, so how I became a mod is actually fairly complicated. So one day I was watching Loco stream, and I get a ping from a mod, and they asked me, "Hey, want to join Loco's mod team?" So I said yes, and that's the end of the story. literally, it's literally all happened. That's I didn't ask. Like I didn't beg anyone to like be a mod. I guess I had established myself enough. We'll talk about this later about like the qualifications for being a mod, but I guess I just established myself enough in the community, kind of leading point on some community events and things like that, and I edited some videos and things like that, and kind of showed that hey, I have some skills. So yeah, they tapped me on the shoulder and asked me, hey, mod team. So I said yeah, and now like yeah, it's a cool experience. It went from me just joining the team and being a mod and learning the ropes to me running Loco's YouTube empire, right? And that's
And
a whole
that's
other thing. Yeah,
that's the part about your modding that I can't wait to dive into, because
yeah,
you're one of those mods that had a very, well, maybe you didn't have this skill when you started. Maybe you developed this skill, but you've come to grow Loco's YouTube channel by an absolutely massive amount. And I can't wait to dive more into that, and how you did that, and how streamers and mods that are watching can transfer to that kind of specialized role where you do something very specific for a streamer, because that's super interesting to me, and I've never quite been that go-to person for any single thing. So that's awesome. Helena, do you want to tell us how, because you do huge event streams, like you mod streams with more people than I don't even want to be in those streams, let alone mod them. So tell us all about that. Who you mod for, how you started, what kind of big stuff you do. I'm super excited to hear all about that.
There's a lot of what I do for each channel kind of differs. I do a lot of community modding, but event side, I'm mostly a chat mod, though I do know how to edit bot commands. I do know how to get rid of copy pasta, stuff like that as needed. I think I'm there as well because I speak several languages and I can spot trolling when it's attempted in, Spanish, Portuguese, Russian, whatever. I can pick that up and get rid of it, and then recommend that it be put onto the Automod or to whichever bot we're using at the time. So what I do varies with the. Sometimes I make the commands. It really is just a different experience. But 9 times out of 10, I'm watching over the chat.
Yeah, and that sort of oftentimes feels like a lot of what we do as mods. Like we're not actually actively paying attention to the streamer anymore. We're engaged with chat. We're there to help keep communications going, keep conversations flowing, answer questions before the streamer can get to it. That's a big part of our job, really. And a lot of times it's one of those, you don't really pay attention to the streamer until they say the words mod. Like, hey, right. I need you to do something. Like, oh yeah, you're still here.
Who's got mods, moderator, and moderators highlighted? I hope we're all raising our hands right now. If you're a mod, you should have that word highlighted. If you are listening to your streamer, that word should always peek your ears up, which is why I hate games with like gun modifications. Because I'll just be sitting there like half modding and someone will just and local will be like, oh, I have the worst mods, and I'm like, what did I miss? And then I'm like, oh, she's modifying her gun. Oh, okay, yep, yeah. My bad.
I mean, that happens in Isaac too. Sometimes people ask him if he mods the game, and he's like, nope. And I'm just like, I don't have any mods. I'm like, yeah. Right here, dude. Yeah. One thing that's interesting too, I've seen it. We've kind of had a discussion in chat a little bit. It's this idea of don't ask for mod chip, don't ask for the sword. I actually have a slightly different perspective on this. Like I didn't straight up ask Taffy, hey, can I be modded? But he had mentioned, I need another person for the afternoon. We're just kind of lacking there. And I said, if you need me, use me. And then it was really chat who was like yelling at him to mod me. But it's like, if a streamer does say, hey, I might need coverage, or if it's something where like you're noticing stuff in chat and they're not having someone cover it, that can be a private DM conversation, especially for smaller to mid-range, like lower tier mid-range, like 50cc and under channels. Like you can have that private conversation. If you're a regular in chat and you've been there long enough, you can come in and say, hey, do you need help with this? I offer this. And that can really, a streamer might not know you're interested. And so.
Yeah, a lot of different ways to get mod chip. It all depends on the streamer and what you can offer and whether they're currently looking for mods. I know for Loco, I put in an application and they were like, no. But then they didn't have enough people and they were like, well, I guess maybe. And that's how I ended up getting.
Wow, so that's how it happened.
Yeah, no, I was not a first choice. But look where we are now. I'm still last choice. So you never know. But we have some specific questions that are kind of tailored to both of your specialties, and I'm super curious to get into these. So, Helena, like, how did you get into event modding? Did you mod for medium to large streamers first?
I was already known as a mod in the music community for several partners. So they started recruiting for events, and that's kind of what I put on.
You're cutting out a little bit.
Yeah, unfortunately, the gardener's here, so I'm having a little bit of trouble with audio.
Okay, that sounds much better though.
Okay, yeah, he walked away. There was a lawnmower. Okay, where was I? The large streams started recruiting, and I answered the call for one of them, and I can't honestly remember now. But from there, it all just, and now I work large charity events, the Riot Games. They're in all their stuff.
Oh, I still think we're getting like 2/3 of the words. I know you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but Gardner decided he's going to be here right now.
Gonna making a pass right outside your window. I'm sure, just
Yes.
like every time they have to mow my lawn, it's just like right outside my window, exactly
Right.
when I need to stream.
Exactly. That's what's happening.
They
Right
know your
outside my
schedule.
window.
But if I understand it correctly, the community there's kind of a event mod community. Am I
Yes.
getting that right? Where like you don't just mod for Riot and nothing else. And the same people that mod for Riot might mod for a completely different huge event stream, but you're all kind of in that community together.
That is correct.
That's
That's correct. A lot of times you're going to run into the same people in different channels, or whether it's Riot or DreamHack, ESL. Some of that even spreads to the charity streams like GDQ or European speedrunning. But yeah, it's kind of just a community of people that know each other and can work together.
That's so interesting to me. I don't think there's a single other mod community on Twitch that works anything like that. Am I wrong? Like, is that
You're not wrong. I don't know of one.
yeah? It's not like, oh yeah, there's just this pool of political stream mods, and if you're doing a political stream, you just hit up that group of people and they all already work together. Like, it doesn't work that way. It's just so interesting. It's like a little microcosm of Twitch mods, and I love it.
But that being said, opportunities arise every once in a while for new people.
Right.
And the way that you would get in, a lot of times there is a special Discord where those opportunities are posted, and people there's applications. I think they're usually Google Forms. There's applications, people fill them in, and you either get picked or not. Usually they're looking for experience, some sort, bot knowledge, maybe a language or two. Depends on what event it is. But it's not too difficult for a new person to get in. It just takes time.
Right. Okay. So it's like it's an existing community, but that's not to say that it's closed off.
Correct. It's not.
Cool. And then I guess for Dylan, you have a complete different specialty, which is how did you, just from the top, how did you start running Loco's YouTube channel? You were invited on as a mod, not a YouTube person, right?
No, yeah, no, that was like it just evolved from that. So I joined the team, and then I had to sort of establish early that I can do some videos. So that one thing led to another, right? And so then the person who was previously running the YouTube channels had to step down or step back, right? So he pinged me and sort of said, "Hey, do you want to take this over?" And so I said, "Sure." So then he took the time to walk me through like all the little bells and whistles, because I've never run my own YouTube channel, let alone someone else's, right? So I had to learn all that, and then started uploading stuff slowly but surely, right? From there, we had to sort of then as I got more comfortable with it, I started to sort of put my own touch on it, right, and started to implement my own vision for the channel, and slowly figuring out, okay, how does YouTube work? And a lot of that is research, right? You have to understand that YouTube, for a streamer like Loco, Twitch streamer, is a secondary platform, right? And so I'm basically running an entire other platform for this streamer, and that platform has its own quirks and its own ebbs and flows, right? So as I learned over time, and then we figured out the thumbnails and designed a new style for the channel, I also did a lot of research into like, okay, what works on YouTube? Because you can't just simply gonna bring it over to YouTube, right? I had to learn that, and I want to give a shout out to, I think it was John, who you guys had on Stream Scene, talked about like the
John
difference
Sandman,
between YouTube and Twitch. And honestly, I thank him for everything, because what he's talked about on that Stream Scene episode changed the way I thought about the YouTube. And so one of the big things that happened was I started looking at and saying, hey, let me do reaction-y type things that appeal to the YouTube remember seeing a thing about how like there was a streamers react to the end of Death Stranding. That was like a big video, right? And there's a lot of streamers react to things, YouTubers react. So I said, well, I remember Loco having a pretty memorable reaction to the ending of Death Stranding, a lot of tears. So I was like, well, I'll cut a video of that and post it on YouTube as its own individual video. And it got thousands of views, right? And so from there, and then that led to Kojima Productions actually contacted her and asked her to use footage from that reaction in their own promotional footage for the game, which was crazy. So that allowed us to sort of start pivoting the channel to not just like the stream stuff, right? But also like reaction modes, things that are more like clickbaity and more YouTube friendly, right? And pivoting the channel in that direction. And we are now on pace within this 1 year frame of me taking it over and us implementing all these changes, double the subscriber count within a year. From like 10,000 to like 20,000, like within a year, just from implementing these things. But I say all that to say, like, yeah, I didn't know what I was doing when I took over the YouTube channel. It was really a lot of like trial and error and figuring things out. But I want to say, like, a lot of it is just research, like understanding, okay, what am I doing? I'm running a YouTube channel. Okay, well, how do YouTube channels work? How do successful YouTube channels work? And bringing those ideas to Loco's channel.
I'm curious, as you've been like learning how to find good content for YouTube, what are some good ways that people can identify content that makes good clips, shareable clips? Because that's a big thing. Like you can make funny clips, but out of context, it doesn't really matter. So like, how do you find those ones where it could be the perfect thing to put on YouTube or Twitch or Twitter? I mean,
Yeah, like so reaction. Like, if you want to start a YouTube channel or like, dude, it's easy money. Like, not money. I mean, like, it's easy. Like, you'll be amazed, like, how many people can build an entire YouTube like empire just off of like reactions to songs, reactions to movies, all kind of stuff, right? So I realized that what I wanted to do, and Loco's a very animated streamer, you kind of need to understand your streamer, right? It helps that I'm not just like a YouTube guy. I'm a moderator and a member of the community, so I understand her stream, her culture, and how. So, like for me, like memorable things like we had this Darth Vader thing, right? Which is like the craziest thing on the YouTube channel for us. Like she had a very animated, memorable reaction. Sorry, spoiler alert for Fallen Order. She had a very memorable reaction to the end of that game. So I remember like after the Death Stranding thing happened, I was like, well, let me cut like a video of like that 10-minute ending and edit that down. And I put that up on YouTube, and as of today, it's about to hit 400,000 views on YouTube. It's like just ginormous because people like loved her reaction to that ending. So it's about like understanding the culture of the stream and the streamer. Like if you're a streamer like funny or quirky or whatever, you're gonna look at the clips that are gonna be funny and yes, right? Or if a streamer like cries a lot, right? The clips that are crying, or if like it's a pro game like streamer, right? You want those pro skill moments. You don't want to put together a highlight reel of fails. Like if you're trying to like you got a streamer who's like a great shooter, like a pew pew shooter, right? So you don't want fails. So but for Loco that works. Like there's funny stuff. So it depends. You really have to look at what's good for the.
yeah.
That's a really interesting point. Is making sure you're not like I'm not gonna go through Locos clips and look for pro gameplay like that.
Yeah,
That's
you mix those in to let everybody know that she can play video games, right? And she's pretty good. But like you're not like again like if you're a streamer who's like a super serious Call of Duty streamer, like if that's their brand, they don't you don't want to make highlight reels and clips that are like them like getting destroyed in the first minute, right? But if you're someone who like they're a great personality, right? And their personality is what makes the stream, reactions to things. Those are the clips.
Yeah, and I know Hunter Wild, one of our co-owners here, he does Stream Scene. He's taken a lot of his clips, like, and he's asked the community to submit clips and whatnot. And it's funny because a lot of the ones that get into his little montages are kind of like the epic fail, but the like most hilarious reaction to the epic fail that you could have. And so that's definitely an easy thing to kind of find. I know like when I stream, when I used to stream, I don't stream really much anymore. Clipping for me is a lot different because I'm not all that animated, and that's fine. Like, I've thought about it. I'm like, man, I wish I could be like Carly cartoons because that woman is animated. I mean, not just being an animator, she
Literally.
animated herself. And so, like, I'm like, man, I wish I could be like that. But I'm like, it would also be almost insincere for me to be that over the top all the time, and I don't think I have the physical energy for it. But like, there are still ways you can take those like subtle things, and if your streamer doesn't have a stream deck to like do the close-in camera like changes and whatnot, you can edit stuff for the clips. Some of my favorite clips are ones where just like a montage of like Misha Crossley did one recently of her trying to find her dreamy character on Animal Crossing, and she kept seeing the same character on all these different mystery visits. And so it's just a clip of her talking about the fact that she keeps seeing Octavia on all these other ones, and it worked out really well. Or if a streamer is just like having a rough day and swearing up a storm, those like perfectly timed sensor beeps, those like just add that little touch of perfection.
Absolutely. Well, I've got a lot more questions for Dylan and Helena pertaining to like their specialties. But let's do a few roundtables. I don't want to end up running out of time. This is, Ask Mods Anything. And some of the questions that we got, where do we want to start? How do you know when to back up and support another mod in chat versus when it's just dogpiling on someone? I've got an interesting take on this with my experience, but let's start with Helena. What do you say?
Well, what do you mean by dogpiling? Dogpiling on the mod, or a mod going
Like
after
mods
someone?
ganging up on one person in chat.
Oh, I'm gonna, at least publicly, I'm gonna either stay out of it or back up my fellow mods. Privately, I'll pose the question.
I like that. Dylan, what do you think? Is there a time for multiple people and multiple mods to be calling out a viewer?
I think this is where, and we may talk about this later too, is this why mod chats are super important, right, behind the scenes. So like, for those who don't know, like, so you're seeing chat and we're talking and we're addressing a problem user, whatever that's happening. But behind the scenes, like, we have a mod chat where we're actively discussing these very issues, or like, what should we be doing about this? So it's very, very important that you guys are all on the same page, or at least actively talking about, like, okay, because someone responds or whatever. Like, we always, like, if we see something wild happening in chat, typically, like, not only will we address it live in chat, but we'll also be like, yo, you guys seeing this wild thing happening right now in chat, right? So like, it's always one of those things we talk it out. That's what I love about our mod team, the Locos team, is that we talk everything out. So it's never like, issues of dogpiling never really happen that often, because like, we do anything or anything really escalate. Like,
Yeah, a lot of times on our team, it's like one person hits the timeout, or person hits the purge to get rid of the message in question. And then maybe the same person or another person is tagging them with the rules command or something like that. But then there's a whole other conversation that's going on in mod chat. And whether that's just incredulity, where all of you are just like, can you believe this person? Or it's just like, what should we do? If they do that again, should we 24-hour them? There's always some discussion going on behind the scenes. Rini, what do you think about this?
I think it's really fascinating because in a lot of chats, like, I've had mod channels where you can kind of talk about viewers in chat and whatnot. With Taffy, we really don't do that. It's just one of them things of like, he trusts our decisions 100%. If there's ever any confusion, like, we'll bring it into Discord, but we typically kind of just, trust our guts, trust the fellow mods. We'll ping each other if there's any kind of confusion, but like oftentimes I'm really quick on getting the purge out, and then Kat, one of our mods, will come in and say, you know, this is why we don't do it. And she'll do it like immediately without me having to like say, hey, you know, let's tag team this. And we've had so many situations where like our mods just kind of click, like it's like hive mind. Like we just know like this is how we handle it. We know who's going to do what. It's not too often. Occasionally, if a troll comes in, we do have the troll mods as well who like to kind of gang up on the trolls. I tend to be someone who is just more of a, you know, ban and buy. I don't want to deal with it. But Carly actually brings up a good question on this too, with owning up to a mistake. Like if you misban, not just a misclick, but just like what happens when, as a mod, you make a mistake. And I like this one because I did recently, not necessarily make a mistake, but it was more of I missed context that was happening, and I heard my streamer say someone timed this guy out, so I did, and he's like, he meant with bits. Like, well, you know, meme or no meme, don't argue with the mods. Like that was just it, and it comes down to like if you're a mod and you make a mistake, the first thing you do is just you can apologize to the person publicly or in private. Second thing that should happen is if you are timed out, purged, banned, like, and you think the mod was wrong, take 2 seconds to breathe and then calmly discuss it with them in a private DM saying, hey, you know, this is what happened. This is something that you maybe missed. Even if the mod was wrong and you come at them with hostility and argue with them, more than likely they will just outright ban unless the streamer says otherwise.
There's a lot of channels in which respect the mods is an actual written rule. So whether they made a mistake or not, if you go from, oh, I got accidentally purged, to, hey, screw you mods, you power hungry pieces of, you know, expect to get the permaban after that. That's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is for the dogpiling, I actually have an also almost probably more unique take, because in a political chat we have this thing where someone comes in, and in Lucid's stream, most of the people who are watching, you know, 450 out of 500 of us all are pretty much in the same area. And so we have a situation where sometimes someone comes in with a completely different opinion, and it's not the mods dogpiling, it's the mods trying to prevent the dogpiling. We actually have a command, !dogpile, because a lot of times the streamer is addressing that person directly, and it doesn't help to have 50 other viewers attacking that person and adding that person when they're trying to have a conversation with the streamer and the streamer's trying to have a conversation with them. So in the opposite, where like sometimes on Loco's team it does feel like that well-oiled machine where I time somebody out because they said something in non-English, and then Chef is using the English command and tagging them, and at the same time KPM is Google translating the thing to make sure that it shouldn't just be an immediate permaban. And it's like, well-oiled machine, we each are doing one thing, it works perfectly, it's beautiful. And then there's Lucid's chat sometimes where it's like all 5 of the active mods are just trying to pull viewers off of this person and just like say like, no, give the person a chance to speak. It's not fair.
Literal dogpile.
Yeah, like we've got 100 people yelling at one person right now. Just give them a chance. So yeah, it's a very different situation over there. And yeah, it sounds like a Lucid stream. That's about right.
Yeah, and another great question from chat is, how do you deal with backseat modding? Because part of how it's easy to find good mods for your channel, they're the people who already know the rules, they're the people who know the commands. They even know how to help with the bot, even though they don't have access to it. But there's that fine line of like, as a viewer, should you be stepping up before the mods? And when is that not okay?
I think it's one thing, like, if you every now and then, like, occasionally someone asks a question that's general to the channel and it's something usually a mod would do, but you kind of just step in and handle it. But if it's one of those things where you're just like in there every day, like you're the stream police, like the citizens patrol, right? Like every single day you're posting commands and you're doing all the things that mods do. That's when I think it oversteps the boundaries. Or when you're whispering mods to tell them, hey, change the title, or hey, we should do this, or that's a whole other issue altogether, right? Like that's where it gets a little bit problematic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say, and Chef brings up a good point, is that there is a fine line in that can be very helpful. And I think when you may want to do that is if there's an everyone level command like !social or !discord, and somebody brings it up and asks for it, and 5 or 10 seconds go by and a mod hasn't posted it yet, go ahead and post it. Then you're being helpful. But also, there's so much context to it. If you're trying to beat a mod to it, you're doing it wrong, and you're being annoying and backseat modding.
Yeah, there's a difference between providing helpful information about things versus the more discipline-y side of modding, which that should be left to anyone with a sword. Like, if there are no mods around and you know the rules, yes, you can help step in then. But if there are mods there who are active, say a streamer has a rule in chat, like, of no emote only, like no emote spam. Like if you have this many emotes, it's considered spam. And then the person who's constantly saying, hey, don't do that, is a chat person, and they're not letting the mods do their job. That actually clogs things up so much more and creates even more spam. And you can have bot spam too. Like if too many people are trying to, if you have your rules in different commands, I would almost not even have certain rules in commands, because then you risk the chat actually putting in bot spam if you're not putting those as mod only.
Yeah. There's a big difference between, and I'm glad you actually made that direct distinction, is that there's a huge difference between being there to drop a command if a mod hasn't gotten to it and trying to police chat. If you're trying to do the disciplinary side, or you're telling other viewers what to do without a sword, you're definitely crossing a line. There may be some streamers and some mod teams that are totally okay with that. And it depends on what it is. There may be some times when I'm okay with it if someone is just like, hey, let's be more positive in chat. And tells a certain user to maybe like, stop posting all these negative things or something like that. That might be something I'm okay with, but like trying to enforce the rules, absolutely not okay.
Yeah. Or even
what I run into a lot is on the community channels I mod is somebody will come in and raid, and not every channel give a shout out for Raider. Different channels have their policy. But then you get that person in the chat, well, aren't you going to give them a shout out? They raided. Aren't you going to do this? Aren't you going to do this? The point where they get themselves out.
Yeah. And don't be surprised when that happens if you're trying to backseat mod or you're trying to, tell the mods.
Exactly.
So annoying.
Yeah.
Which, that's one of those things of, depending on what the current climate is of the chat, you either tell them, frankly, in public chat, hey, we've got it under control, or we just don't do that here. Or that can be a time for private DMs, which I know some people have DMs turned off, but man, it is so helpful as a mod to just be able to like tell someone privately, like, this is what's going on, and to not have to drag that out. Or there's times when, like, I love it when there are communities where someone's coming in, they're obviously having a bad day, they're dragging down the whole vibe of chat, and someone else that's not even a mod will just be like, hey, why don't you DM me about that? I'm like, that person is on my list for, like, maybe should be a mod in the future, because that's someone who's there to care about the community and can help take things out when they need to be out.
Yeah, that's being helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I appreciate. I'll take that all day. you you
And
want
that
to?
lets the mods stay in chat to actually focus on things too, because the more we have to take things to DM, the less we're focused on what's happening in chat.
Yeah, because there are a couple of streams where I get DM'd a lot. Somebody's having a bad day or whatever, and I don't mean to seem that I lack compassion, but at that moment might not be the right time to DM me about your issue.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, I like to be a caring, compassionate person, but when I'm a mod, I kind of get in this like business mindset, and so like I don't go into the like um Discord channels that have to deal with like uh daily life problems. When like I'll check in there every once in a while, but like I'm actually not active in there. I know when I was back on Lucid's team, we had a few mods that were just like they kind of lived there, and they were really good. Like I don't know if anyone ever knows of the former mod slash now streamer Anna Max5. Anna is like if you took a rainbow and a pile of puppies and all of the bunnies in the world and shoved them into a human who's Australian, that's her.
Yeah.
She's just like so great, and you have to add in a whole bunch of sass too because she's really sassy. But yeah, she is really good at being that one mod, like taking that role of being like, hey, I'm going to be the people person, and having that on your mod team is really good. Which, speaking of mod teams, um, with the different roles and whatnot, like I know for Taffy's stream, like we don't have clearly defined this person's going to do this person's going to do that. I've kind of stepped up and doing a lot of the community stuff in back end organizing, but we have other mods who do YouTube. We have mods who are always there getting all of the announcements there because some other mods like to sleep in. But how did you guys' teams, I was really curious about locos, like decide who's going to take on what role?
So it's interesting. Like me coming in, I mean, I'm not the newest mods. I'm like the what's after toddler. Like I guess we're the kindergarten mods now, right?
Yeah.
So like yeah. Um, so we coming in like everybody. We don't. It's not like we have a bulletin board, right? It's not like we have a bulletin board and everybody's mod, role is assigned to them, right? It's just a case of like the mod culture that we have. Everybody has like certain skills, right? We have a couple mods who are amazing photo editors. We have a couple mods who are the bot mods, right? That's what they just. It's just based on what they do. My role now is obviously expanded. Like I run the YouTube channel. That's my thing. But I'm also in chat. Like everybody for the most part, team for the most part can come in and mod chat and all that. And we do have like our I like to refer to Chef as Dad Mod, right? Because he's like he's already the boss mod, right? Because he's like there most days and he kind of like sets the tone in chat. So it's not like again defined things. It's just based on everyone's skill set, right? They just kind of do the thing they do. And that's just kind of it.
We kind of fall into it in the loco mod team. Everybody starts with being a chat mod, and then we talk a lot. So if something comes up where it's just like, oh, we need a thumbnail, someone might pop out of the woodwork and be like, oh, I put this together, and it's just like, you're making thumbnails from now on because that's amazing.
Yeah.
Um,
That's like the biggest thing, right? Like I love our team so much because and this is kind of like a thing we were going to talk about. I guess we could talk about it now-ish, which is that like we talk a lot, right? Not just actively in Discord, in mod chat, but then we have regular mod meetings, right? It's either weekly that we'll have a mod meeting. We have a set time that we have our mod meetings. We discuss the going chat with Loco or without Loco, and then we also will occasionally just have impromptu like voice chat meetings where we just talk and have our conversations. Sometimes just off kilter, talking about ourselves and stuff. And it turns into a mod meeting. But the biggest thing that allows us to function, like you said, Wes, earlier, like a well-oiled machine, is we talk. Like it's hard to be a well-oiled machine if you guys don't know each other. Even though we have a team that's filled with people from all parts of the country and the world, Norway, people in Ohio, people all over the place, right? But we get along very, very, very well because like we talk all the time as a team, and so we've gotten to know each other, and we are a weird family, but We are very much family.
Yeah. And
Well,
that's something that was brought up on Twitter from one of our good friends, Frank the Pegasus, asking about like how do you keep people organized. And then a big thing is because I know from personal experience being on the outside, I know local mod meetings can last a while. How do you keep them focused as well? Because, or do you even try?
Dude,
focused. Oh my god,
No.
we talked about what the U.S. Postal Service would ship during World War II for like 20 minutes last meeting.
I literally, in the middle of our meeting, got on a rant about Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that was like another.
Roxy was like, "What are you doing? can we please talk about what we're supposed to be talking about?" I felt so bad.
Yeah. And see, like I know, like Taffy, we don't have mod meetings. Like we only just recently, because of a show that we did a while ago with Hunter Wild and Taffy, Hunter made this comment about having a mod sewer, and that's where the mods get to be social. They get to just put all their junk and their waste and everything. And so we made that for Taffy's. That way, when we have mod conversations, they're not taking up that mod chat where he thinks he has to pay attention, and we can actually be social and do dumb things together. Like, but I'm kind of like a little envious because I would like to spend more time with my mod crew, but I also know with Taffy's, it's like having a mod meeting. We're not going to have much to discuss because Taffy plays Isaac in the morning, and then he has a list of 17 games he's working through for the afternoon, and we know kind of which ones are coming next because he tells everyone in chat. So we have really nothing to talk about in mod meetings.
Yeah. Yeah, I found that similarity a lot where the channels that are more routine, like when I used to mod a channel that just played the same card game every day and had like a schedule where on Fridays I play against viewers. On Tuesdays, viewers submit their decks and I use their decks and see how well I can do. Like, there was never anything to talk about. Anything that we needed to talk about got discussed in Discord during the day when it was happening. Helena, do the channels that you mod for, or do the large channels have meetings? I know some of that's going to be NDA. Tell me as much as you can.
The large channels don't have meetings per se. They do advise when something needs to be acted upon. Usually a staff member will come in and say, hey, can we do this or do that? And we'll act accordingly. But not mod meetings per se. I think only one event channel that I work in does actual meetings.
Okay. Now, I know you responded to that tweet, Dylan, to Frank's tweet about mod meetings. Tell me why you think we should or should not have mod meetings. And actually, I'm very curious. You just made affiliate. Congratulations again. You're looking for mods. I'm assuming, going to be adopting some of what you're doing from Locos. Like, that's going to shape how you look at a potential mod team. So tell me about that. What do you think about meetings, and how are you going to go forward personally?
Yeah, I mean, mod meetings are super. Like I said, if you're a team, right? And it's obviously important for us with a streamer like Loco, and it does depend on the streamer, because like you said with Taffy, Rini, may not be things in the stream may not change that often, so you may not have a lot of things to talk about. Definitely for someone like Loco, who's always evolving the stream, like we have to stay abreast of what's happening, and then we have to communicate. There's a lot of different things, and I always like to use meetings to talk about what's going on with the channel. I also farm for ideas. So like that's like a big reason why we have meetings. And for me right now, it's just so like strange, right? Because I just started streaming regularly last week, and I'm streaming 5-6 days a week, right? So and the stream is, even though it's very 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 new, it's grown enough or growing enough where chat is active, and I actually need help, right? So I'm actually actively looking for mods, which is a I can't even get into how weird that is, right? That I actually need to look for mods and start thinking about that like right now, because I actually have the need for it. So I'm like applying my own experiences with US and with the local team, like okay, so now once I get mods, like right now I don't have like a lot of needs. I really just need to like run commands and just that. But like once, if I continue to grow, God willing, and things start to evolve, like I will need to have like Discord server, something I literally have to create weekend, because people were literally yelling at me in chat like, "You need a Discord server," and I was like, "Okay, I'll do
Well,
that
yeah.
now, I guess." Like, so many things to do, but yeah, like having to actually apply like things that we've learned, right? And Wes has been, I gotta like shout out Wes, because like he actually brought me in on the team, and like I from even now, Wes, I bother him about like general modding stuff, and we talk a lot still. So like it's being that experience, is there things I'm gonna have to bring here as I try to start the channel, but also not abandoning my responsibilities to that stream. That's a huge, never abandon that, right? So it's a lot, but it's
I personally I cannot speak enough for mod meetings. Again, I think it all goes back to your team, to how much changes week to week. But I still don't think, honestly, I've also modded for channels and been on teams where it is a pretty set schedule. We pretty much know what we're doing each week, and not a whole lot is changing, but we've still benefited massively from getting together and talking for 30 minutes a week. If there's less to talk about, then that gives you more time to just connect with your mods and talk with your streamer. It's a very valuable tool that it doesn't seem like it does much, but it does help you stay on the same page and understand each other better. Like it really does help cement the team and helps everyone figure out their roles and helps everyone learn how to work with each other. Even if there's not that much serious stuff going on, I would always suggest them at least like twice a month for 30 minutes. If you don't have a big stream and you're not changing that much, just give your mods an hour a month and just hang out and talk, and there will be things that come up that will improve your stream that you didn't even think about. Because mod meetings are also a great place where people are like, hey, I had this idea, we should mod Mike. Or like, hey, what if we did an event where we, use channel points for this? Like, stuff just comes up when there's a bunch of people sitting around talking about modding a specific stream. Like, there's always going to be something that can come up that can improve your stream. So, and mods really appreciate it. I can't tell you how much I've heard that, like, a lot of times the mod meeting, people just want to hang out with their fellow mods and with their streamer, and that means a lot to them too. And when mods are working volunteer, feeling like a team is a lot better than feeling like an unpaid employee.
Yeah, and I will say, like, not all teams need them, but all teams need a space to discuss. So having that mod channel in Discord, or just typing and whatnot, because maybe your mods are on such weird schedules and whatnot that actually scheduling a meeting is like herding cats, and it's just not going to happen. But having a place where you can talk about things, talk about events, I know we've really benefited from just being able to post things in our Discord. Taffy's active in that Discord, which really helps. And just knowing that he's there, and he's always been really good about saying, I have your back on this. Which is always like, if you're a streamer, make sure that your mods know that you appreciate them. Make sure you say the words thank you, because that helps a lot, just hearing them. Type it out there, and heck, even if you just like have one of those days where you're out drinking or whatnot, just pop into your Discord a little warm and fuzzy and just let them know how you feel. But I love the idea of like mod events. Like, I've been really brainstorming ever since our episode on mod appreciation about what can we do to like really give back to mods. And so I'm working on some more things for that. I love the idea though of like mod teams getting together on their own, playing games, doing Jackbox nights, even if it's just in Discord. And community members would love to get on board with that too. I know Frank the Pegasus, some of her community members and mods do movie nights. They do different trivia nights. Then they'll do Jackbox. They'll do all this. They even did D&D campaigns. Someone organized the whole thing and had like 5 different D&D campaigns over a whole week. I'm like, there's so much you can do just to be like, hey, this is our community. We appreciate you. We want to spend time together, getting to know each other and our passions beyond just we love this one streamer and what's happening on stream.
Yeah. We're actually getting close to running out of time. Did we have any more questions? I don't have my eyes on. I can hardly read this. Did we have any more questions from chat that we wanted to get to today?
There's one about the work-life balance. I think we'll have to get to that another time, but
Oof.
there was one from Discord that I think might still be really tricky to do, but we can see if we can just think of one thing.
One thing each.
Your best or worst memory as a moderator.
Ooh.
Who wants to go first?
Helena, go first.
Oh, thank you.
This is a really tough one.
I honestly say a specific best, specific worst. And I won't even speak to the worst because it's just not. It's not really relevant. I would say the best events are when you get that DM, somebody in the community thanking you for your work, or a streamer takes time to thank you for what you're doing. Those little thank yous, maybe from the streamer, from fellow mod, or from those go a really long. And I would say those are the best moments.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. Okay, I'll go next. I will say those little thank yous, be it from a streamer, from a community member, someone just saying like, "Oh, thank you so much." Those are some of the best moments. I think my personal best moment, and this is a selfish one, when a bunch of the mods got drunk and played with Loco on stream, and we were just playing a game, and there was like 5 or 6 of us, and we were all just drinking and having a good time. It felt like a great reward to the mods to like be able to be involved in that, and it was just one of the most fun times I've ever had playing a video game. I think my worst time as a mod had nothing to do with the streamer or with anybody in chat. It was a fallout that I had with another moderator that eventually ended up causing me to leave the stream because there was just no way for me and this other person to continue working after a disagreement that we had. So there are, there are a lot of good moments, and they're mostly those thank yous, but that was easily the worst moment, and it didn't come from chat or the streamer.
Dylan, can you think of any?
I mean, best moment, honestly, just like for me, like, being a mod is one thing, but then having the additional responsibility and having that thrust upon me, like, hey, like, here's the YouTube stuff, like, go figure this out, right? And then having it like succeed, like, and flourish. Like, it's one thing to take over something and you just maintain it, right? And it just continues to do what it was doing. But to take over that and it's exploded and it's grown so tremendously, like, like take over a channel and it was just getting started and now it's monetized and things like that, like, it's crazy, and like thousands and thousands of views, and it's awesome. That feels so good to know that I can take on something that I've never done before. Have someone, also shout out to Old School Gentleman, I just want to make sure I point out OSG, because he's actually the one who was previously running it, and he took the time to walk me through everything. They don't do any of this if he hadn't done that, so shout out to OSG. But yeah, like, having that happen has been great. I mean, bad memories, I mean, we not only a bad memory so much as that just it's actually kind of a good thing, is that we get into like beef sometimes as a team, but it's never heated, it's never personal, it's just like family squabbles, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And when those happen, it's not cool, because we're all very different, we come from different places, different backgrounds, and different countries. That's never fun. Like, we've had some emotional things happen. It's just always good that we are able to like get past that, right? Because when you talk and you communicate and you have meetings, it creates like a more of a family atmosphere.
I love that about the Loco Mod team. There have been disagreements, but none that weren't handled and in like an adult way, and that like we didn't get over in some way or another. It's a beautiful thing. So that's like bad memories plus good memories. Rini, how about you?
As far as like worst memory, it's not necessarily a memory per se. It's more of a just this happened and it wasn't great. one of the people that I have modded for a while let one of his friends that was also a mod build his Discord, and they only modded like 2 or 3 people and didn't mod the whole mod team. And so it felt really disconnected because you had mods in stream who weren't mods in Discord. And so it's just like, am I outside of the club? Am I not one of these like quote unquote cool kids that gets in here?
That's
so that's a little hard. If you're going to mod people, mod them equally.
You're right.
Or at least explain to them why. And then probably best memories and such. I was dealing with a lot of health stuff this past year. I have been for the last few years. I got some really good news from the doctor, mentioned it in chat, and before Taffy was really able to say anything in chat, his wife burst through the door with like her Superwoman pose, and he told her, and she's like, "I know, that's why I'm here." He wanted to come in and
awesome.
say, it felt like part of the family. I love Taffy's family a lot. He feels like an older brother to me. The mods feel like family, and I think when you put forth the effort to get to know your team, you can build those relationships. And yeah, even the mods that I might disagree with on time to time, like I still respect them. I respect the history they have with the channel, and so not everyone gets along with their biological family. You're not going to get along with your whole mod family, but you can work together. There's our little, the more you know, happy, warm moment.
What a wholesome note to end on.
We have a game today, and that I want to play all the wholesome games, so now everything is wholesome.
Awesome. Yeah. Oh my gosh, perfect.
Like bath.
All right, so we have in like 2 minutes. We have got Dan's Stream of Thought with Danatage coming up. Today's topic is the job and the trade part 2, assembling your team. So this is going to be a continuation of last week's topic. I'm super excited for it. I'm going to be hanging around there in a moment as soon as we get all this wrapped up. And honestly, don't change your dial because we're literally going to go offline and he'll be back up like right away. So before we peace out here, let's hear where we can find everyone. Let's start with Helena this time. Where can we find you?
I don't stream, so mostly on Twitter. Twitter is Bluestar, one word, 888.
Bluestar 888. Fantastic. Dylan?
Oh, sorry, yes. Yeah, I am at my Twitch link. It's in the chat there in the chat. Yes, I did begin regularly streaming last week. So I stream Monday through Friday, 8 a.m., 10:30 a.m. Eastern. And then Saturdays, we do a Jackbox rap battle party and some other Jackbox things. We did it last Saturday for the first time, and it was amazing. So if you got some rhyme skills, come Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, and come bring your best skills. And during the week, I am primarily streaming right now Star Wars Battlefront 2 and talking about Star Wars. So if that sounds appealing to you, come hang out. I'm trying to build a community. It's doing really, really well, and I would love to have you and see you.
Awesome! And Adorkably Rini. Hey
guys, and you can find me at Adorkably Rini on Twitch, on Twitter, and Instagram. It's all the same now. I'm at Taffy's channel, McLaffy Taffy in the mornings. I am with StreamerSquare, what feels like 24/7. I'm always around here, so if you ever have questions about what we do as a business, what we can offer you as far as our services and our guides, or if you want to be part of our team, hit me up. There may or may not be some streams happening in the next couple weeks because birthday week is happening in like 3 weeks. So I'm looking at maybe some For the King streams, as well as there was some sort of co-op-y stream that I was going to do, and I already forgot the name of the game, so obviously I love that game so much. So tune in for those. Risk of Rain probably were some of them. Move or Die, I think that was what it was. I'm trying to get some of those together. But I want to do some little team streams, and I'm working on getting some community members. AKA, I'm getting a whole team of mods together to play games together. So
that sounds awesome.
We'll have a mod squad, and we will be doing that.
Literally mod squad.
Wes, where can they find you besides in that lovely blue room?
You can find me on Twitter at WesCisa. I also do not stream. You're welcome to follow me on Twitch because, like, sometimes once in a while I might, like every 6 months or so, but don't expect it by any means. I will plug two things. Dylan's stream is fantastic. It's a great place to hang out. I was there on Saturday night rapping my butt off and getting that butt subsequently kicked. But it was like the best Jackbox rap battles that I've ever been in. It was fantastic. I hope to see you there. And then also, don't forget that StreamerSquare is hosting workshops now. We have got a workshop tomorrow. It is on Twitch Basics. It is going to be covering absolutely everything Twitch Basics. The show is going to be so thorough, but so understandable and relatable. I've seen the script. It's going to be amazing. So if you or anyone you know is interested in streaming and needs those Twitch Basics, what time do they need to tune in, Rini?
They need to be here after Hotfix, so 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
That's right, 6:30 p.m. Eastern.
Mark will be here 5 p.m. Eastern Time for Hotfix with Lucid. He's going to be covering some of the latest the latest dish on what's going on with Ubisoft and all of that terms of service stuff.
Oof. So we got shows right after this in like 30 seconds. I'm late to end. And then we've got shows tomorrow at 5 p.m. and then another workshop at 6:30. So stay right here. Don't touch that dial. We got another show coming right here, and we hope to see you again tomorrow. Everybody give the internet a wave. Take care. And if my eyes work, we'll see you next week.